Good evening. So, in today's class, we are going to be looking at the GCP assignment that you guys were given. I don't know if it's possible someone can send the question. Hmm.
Is it the capstone project?
No. The GCP Docker project that you guys were told to create the GCP.
Okay, I don't know of that one, sure.
Okay. Can anybody send the assignment so we can just work on it inside? Okay. So, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Great. So, someone said he dropped the assignment here. Okay, so it said create, okay, build a simple personal website and package it in a container image based off Nginx and publish it on the Docker registry. And it says create Google Kubernetes engine, cluster, and GCP with at least two nodes and create a deployment with your website image. Make sure it is publicly available. Now, lastly, it says submit the Docker file and Kubernetes manifest for this project, along with a screenshot of the website visible in your browser. And lastly, please clean up to avoid generating unnecessary costs. So, for this first part, build a simple personal website and package it. If you can create a website on your own, there's no issue. I get what I'm saying. There's no problem with that. Um, or if you can find a way to get generate like a website, either on Google or you can see any website that is not too heavy. I get what I'm saying. Then sure, you can use something like that. So for this video, I'll basically be showing you an example. You can use it if you like, right? If you don't mind the whole idea of duplicating, then sure, you can use it. Um, so to look at that, if we come here to this directory where we have web app and we open it, we will basically see the whole code. This is the CSS. Um, this is the CSS for the whole website application, and this is the font. So these are the images that are attached to it. These are the images that are attached to it. Um, yeah. So this is also the JavaScript part where you see some JavaScript functions and those kind of thing, right? But none of this is our business. The most important thing is to just get the website. So if you have like a very simple website that you're using, it will still work the same way, right? So now that we have our website available, and this is also our index.html page. So the only thing we're creating here are these three files: the service.yaml, docker.yaml, Docker file rather, and deployment.yaml, right? So first thing we're going to be looking at is the Docker file because it said in the question that we should Dockerize the image, if I'm right. Yeah, so basically build it with Docker and push it to Docker. So if you look at the Docker file is very, very simple, right? They said it should be of an Nginx image, right? So we're using the from, like I explained in the previous Docker classes, from a specific image that already exists, right? So we can use Nginx Alpine because it is very, very light, about let's say 100 MB, 200 MB, you have pulled it, right? And what we want to do now is we want to copy everything, right, that is in this current directory, right? That's what we're doing. That's what this dot stands for. We're copying everything here, and we're basically pushing everything that is there into the nginx slash user slash share slash nginx slash html, where our website is going to be visible. Are you getting what I'm saying? So that also is very important. And lastly, we're also changing the working directory also. So you can also change this, remove this from here and put it before this. Anyone, everything, it still works perfectly well, right? There's no issue with that. And this is just the basic Docker file. This is how it looks like. When you build it, you push it over to your Docker hub, right? And yeah, you can now pull it using our deployment.yaml file. That's when we create our Kubernetes cluster, right? So I know I've not looked at Kubernetes yet in this class, but we'll be looking at it hopefully this week by Thursday, right? So for the deployment.yaml file, you can see the kind. It is the deployment. The name that we gave it is web app deploy, and the labels also is also web app and website, right? And the replicas we want to create is three replicas, right? So we're creating three different replicas from just this one image. And let's just move down to the simple part. And here you can see the image that we're pulling, right? We're pulling it from our Docker registry. This is the name of the image we're going to pull. And this is the name we're giving the container. Please, if you're not asking a question, please just mute your mic, please. Okay, so now this is the name of the container we're giving it, and we're opening a port, and the port we're basically opening here is the port 80, right? This is just the deployment, and we have the service file. So the service file helps us create a load balancer, which we specified here, right? The type is load balancer. It helps us create a load balancer on Google, right? And yeah, that's just basically what it does. And it opens the port 80, target port 80, right? So it basically takes the port on the pod and opens it on the node, right? So the load balancer port is port 80, and everything basically works out in the service file. So now that we have all this ready, right, the next thing we need to do is we need to go over to, okay, let's see. Okay, so let's try to let us try to build it, right, on AWS. That's the Docker image. Then push the Docker image to Docker Hub, and we'll definitely try to pull it again using using our GKE cluster. Okay, so now we're signed into AWS. Next thing we want to do is we want to go over to our EC2 section. Okay, instances. let's launch an instance. Okay, so we'll call this instance test. Yeah, you're gonna omit your mic. Okay, so Ubuntu. The key pair we'll be selecting is one we have always used, London Key2 and C2 Micro. Scrolling down, we don't need to edit anything here, it's enabled. So we'll select an existing security group we have already created, which is public. Scroll down, scroll down, scroll down, and we're going to launch this instance.
Hi, hi, man, good evening.
Yeah,
Is when you're using an AWS instance, I may be lost on that.
you said what?
Is there a reason you've chosen to use
No,
an
no, no.
AWS
There's
for
it's your choice. You can use your Vagrant machine. You can use whatever server that is there, right? But
the-
we just want to build the image first. That's the thing, and push it to Docker Hub.
okay.
Yeah. So we want to log into this instance now, and we're going to click on connect. And we're going to connect to this. Okay, so now that we have this, we want to clone a particular repository. Okay, so it's asking for a username. Um, and it's asking for a password. Um, I mean, okay, so now that we have everything here, we're going to see into the web app, and we'll try to clear this. And we can see all our files here, but the most important thing we're focusing on is the Docker file. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to build this Docker file, and yeah. Okay, so one thing about building a Docker file is you have to know how you are tagging it so that it matches your what's it called. So if I go to Docker Hub, yeah. So the first thing you need to put first is your Docker Hub ID, yeah, which is if you create yours, this is where it should be, right? So you need to know that, and yeah, that's the ID. This is my Docker Hub ID. So if I'm trying to build this image, I'll have to basically build it with my Docker Hub ID. So if I come back here and I do Docker, okay, so I have to use sudo too. Docker isn't even installed. So to install Docker, we can do sudo apt install docker.io. Okay,
Yeah, mentor. What did .io represent
it's
in
just
the doc?
Docker's registry where you can download it from.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't mean anything. Okay, so there are different ways we can install this. Either we install this using apt or we install this using snap. So let's try apt first. So it's saying it has no installation candidates. Let's try snap. Sudo snap install docker. Okay. Okay, so if you do docker now, yeah, we should be able to see our command. So what we can do is a sudo docker build, then a dash t, which stands for our tag, and the name of my tag is unkolo, then slash let's say I want to call this something else, um app, right? And I can give this a version also, let's say v1, then a full stop that tells docker that the whatever we're building is in this same directory, right? So we can run this, and okay, so and this basically work perfectly well. We can do a docker image ls. Okay, sorry, it's sudo docker image ls. Okay, and we can see our image here. So now the next thing we need to do, how do we get to Docker Hub, is we need to do a Docker login. Okay. Yeah, so it will ask you for your username. And one thing I'm just scared about is that I'm not sure I can remember my password. So I'm guessing this should be the username. So, and the password. Okay. Okay. Still the same error. Let me see if I can change it from here. Or let me just try one more time. One more. Okay. I'm guessing it's even me that is trying to. Mhm. Okay, so it seems like I tried something right before save. Mm, okay, so the last one actually worked. So if you create a Docker account, please just write your password down. I get what I'm saying. So login succeeded, and the next thing we want to do now is we have tagged the image. We can do like a Docker push. Yo,
So, mentor, you actually build the image in the on the server that you created.
yeah, on the server, on this server, that's what build the image.
Oh, okay, okay. And the image usually in contains what What and what really?
Okay, so the image is actually containing our web application, right?
Oh, like the
Um,
ports. Okay, okay, I'm
yeah,
seeing. Okay, cool.
it's
Oh,
not
and this a
basically
YAML file, right?
not basically the ports. It contains the whole like application, the CSS file, all the whole code, front end code is there.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. I
so that's basically
got you.
what we use the Docker file. We copied it over to the Docker image, and that's what we're trying to push now. So
Okay, okay. So on that image in the registry, anybody could access that image.
yeah, if I push it, that's sudo docker push, and when it basically works, when it's done with this, we go over to our Docker hub, and we should be able to see our Docker image. So okay, okay. So this is the new um repository we created. So one thing you should know is this: when you are creating a, or when you're trying to push a Docker image, right? Um, whatever you type in after this slash, right, is like a new repository. I get to what I'm saying. So this is like your, for instance, now in GitHub, this is like your whole repository, and this is like a mini repository that's in it, like all these ones that are here, right? This was tagged with invoice. That's why it has its own like separate repository here, and the same thing that happens to app. So if you open this app now, we can see all our, yeah, we can see the version one. This was the tag I gave it. This was the tag I gave. So if you have like different versions of your what's it called, of your image, you can keep pushing it with a different version, and the tag will basically keep applying, right? So now if I want to pull this is the tag I'm going to use. So I'm going to go back, and yeah, so even if I just use the onclo slash app, Docker automatically knows that this is the only Docker image that is here. So it's just going to pull this one. So now that I'm done with this, I'm done with AWS. I've pushed everything to Docker.
Uh, Sorry, before you proceed, upon setting up the instance, right? You
Yeah,
didn't need to install Docker. It was, or did you?
yeah, yeah. Install Docker.
You
This
did.
was
Okay.
this is Docker.
Okay,
Yeah,
I missed it. Okay.
yeah. So the next thing we need to do now, because if we follow the question, um, it basically says create a Google Kubernetes Engine cluster on GCP with at least two nodes and create a deployment with your website image. Make sure it is publicly available, right? So what we're going to do now here is this. Mm, we are going to make a change to the image that we're pulling here, right? Here it is web app. Remember we changed it to app. It's no longer web app, so we have to make the change to our image there, just the image, and every other thing is good to go. So we can basically come back here and go over to GCP. So you should have like a GCP account. Go over to GCP and come down here to Kubernetes Engine. Click on Kubernetes Engine. Yeah. So now that you're on the Kubernetes engine, what you need to do is just click on create, right? So I'm going to click on create. Okay. So by default, it will automatically take you to this automatic autopilot cluster, right? So we want to switch to a standard cluster. So we're going to be clicking on that.
Mm?
Okay. Please mute your mic if you're not asking a question or
No.
speaking. Okay, so now that we're here, we have the name of the cluster. We can change this. We can call this GKE dash cluster dash mastermind, right? And yeah, if you scroll down, normally when you sign up, there's no need for you to look at this build as there. When you sign up, you should get like a $300 credit, right, for your free trial. Yeah. So there's no need for it, and there's no way you'll be leaving this on for a whole month. So there's no need for you to look at this. So you can scroll down again, and yeah, just leave everything as it is. The zone we picked UE Central 1-C, and if you come back to the default pool, we can see the number of nodes that we can basically call this, and they said two. So we're going to be using two. Yeah, and yeah, that's basically all you need. Okay, yeah. So some people that will try to create this and you get like an error that you don't have enough quota or something like that. You can just reduce the amount of disk size that you have here. You can reduce it to like 50 instead of 100. I guess what I'm saying. So with that said, yeah, let's just create this.
Okay, mentor. In a real life scenario, the web page would probably produced by the front end people.
Is that what?
Now, I was asking in the real life scenario, the web page would be produced by the front end developers.
Yes, definitely. You can't do front end, do back end, and still do cloud. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this on a normal day would take a lot of time to come up. Um, we should have created itself since before we started going into the other thing. Okay, so I'm guessing we can delete it. Let's just leave this for now. Um, okay, so you can even see the instances already created. So GKE cluster mastermind default pool. These are the two instances that are supposed to be attached to the cluster. So they are already created. And the one thing about this GKE environment is it does not even look, let's say, user friendly like AWS. Yeah. And they even provide like a lot of knowledge, so you can still learn from GCP rather than going out there to buy a course if you don't have money for a course or something. You can still learn from GCP. There are a lot of tutorials here that will basically guide you. Okay, so how are you guys going with the tax on the mastermind? That's the Terraform tax. How are you guys going with it? Are you almost done with it?
Which is that? Sorry.
Sorry, who asked now? Okay, okay. So, I will definitely resend it again. So the like a list of tasks that was given in the brainstorming that will basically give you like a better understanding of each tool. And so yeah, this is it. So for Jenkins, there's tasks on Docker, there's tasks on Terraform, Ansible, there's tasks on Bash scripting, which is the very first. And yeah, where are you guys now on the task section?
Hello, mentor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could not do anything on my AWS for now.
Okay.
So I moved to Docker. So I'm working on the Docker task.
Yeah, okay. If you didn't get it, it will be sent again to the group. Yeah. So basically here we have our Kubernetes cluster running and we want to connect to this. So how do we connect to it? So right here, you see like a three dots here. You click on these three dots, you click on connect and yeah. So the first way you can connect to it is by having like a kubectl installed, right? On your what's it called? On your machine. That's if you're using like a, let's say your Vagrant machine or some other kind of machine you built on AWS. You can install kubectl, copy this code and paste it. I get what I'm saying. And yeah, everything will basically be working perfectly well. It's still going to be the same thing as I'm going to be doing here. So that's one way to do it. So kubectl is just like AWS CLI for Kubernetes. Yeah. So if you want to log in through your Google Cloud Shell, you can just click on Run in Cloud Shell, and you can click that. And even when you do click it, you still get the link, right? This is the G Cloud, the same credentials, the same link, the same command you're still supposed to run. It will still appear here. So what you need to do is once you enter this section, just click on enter, and it will ask you to authorize Cloud Shell. Authorize. Okay. So basically, you're connected to it already, right? So it's still the same process. And if you type kubectl here, you'll see kubectl is installed by default on the Cloud Shell. So we can clear this out. Next thing we want to do is we want to clone. Uh, so Control V, just so that there's no like any what's it called here, any option for paste. So you have to just use Control V. So we'll have to clone this again. Okay, so it's saying that the web app already exists and is not empty. So I've cloned this here before, right? So let's do like a ls and we can see the web app present here, right? So if we clear this and we see the into web app, yeah, and ls, we can see every single thing present here. So the only thing we want to change now is we want to nano into the Docker file, not the Docker file, the deployment.yaml file, and we want to make a change to the image that we're going to be pulling from Docker, right? So instead of web app, we just named it as app, and you can save this, Control O, enter, Control X, and that's saved. And how do we run this file? So it's going to be a kubectl. Give me a minute, please. Okay. Um. So Kubernetes. Okay. Kubectl. You can use create. You can use apply. So apply then -f, and we can use dot, because we are basically telling Kubernetes that okay, we want Kubernetes to apply every single manifest, which is the service.yaml and the deployment.yaml that is in this same directory. So we can just run this, and you can see the deployment is created. And if you do a kubectl get deployment, yeah, you can basically see up to date 0 out of 3 pods are ready. And if you do a kubectl get SVC, which stands for service, where you can see our load balancer is pending, right? Because when we come to the section of the service file, we basically set the type to load balancer. I'm guessing there are like 3 types. There's the cluster IP, there's the node IP, and there's the load balancer, right? So we're setting it to a load balancer because of we want everything to basically balance between every single server. So if we run that again, and we can see the IP address of the external IP address of our load balancer. Also, you can also see it when you come over to your networking. Okay, so you can just come over here to type load balancer, and okay, so we can see it here. Okay, so you can see our load balancer is an external load balancer, and it's created in this same region, right? And this is the DNS name. So if you come back here and we basically check out our kubectl get deployment again, okay, so this seems like something that is not showing us the what's it called. So like I said, Control C. Okay, so sorry, another thing is when you select something, it automatically just copies it, right? So let's go over to our browser and paste that there. Okay, so our website is not reached, and let us find out why. So if you come back to Kubernetes, it's saying 0 out of 3, and we need to, let's say, kubectl let's try to now go into the deployment first. Okay, so let's go over to our Docker image. Okay, /app. Then I'm guessing we need to put this version name here just to be more. Okay, so we can do that by, so v1 Control O, enter, then Control X. So we can do kubectl apply, then -f, the deployment.yaml file. Okay, so if you do a kubectl get deployment, okay, so yeah, it seems like we needed to add this the tag to the name, right? So if you come back here, you can see that it's now 3 out of 3 that is basically running, and up to date is 3, and available is 3. So if we should reload this, just to be sure if this is the so kubectl get svc. Okay, so okay, so what we'll have to do now is to try to delete this. So we can do a kubectl delete -f, then and try to reapply it again. Okay, so let's try to apply this again. Okay, so sales created. So we're going to do a kubectl get deployment and the kubectl get svc. So seems like it's creating a new load balancer. So we're going to delete this and wait for the new one to come up. Okay, so let's try this out. Okay. So finally, it's basically connected, and this is the website that we basically pulled and everything from our Docker, and we push to Docker and we put from Docker. This is everything, and this is how the website looks like. And if you want to use the website like this, and you don't have any problem with duplication, then no problem. You can use something like this. But if you want to use something else, you can also do exactly the same step and yeah, push your own website and you see exactly your website so when you push it. So now another thing is clean up. How do you clean up? My battery is 16%. Let me see. Kubectl, what we ran before, delete dash F. Then that's the first you need to do because you need to delete the load balancer, which is still deleting. So as this is deleting, let's come over to our AWS here and delete our AWS instance. Terminate instance, yeah, terminate. Yeah, if you have any
Sorry,
questions, you can ask, please.
yeah, for the for the AWS instance, after building the image, it has no further role in keeping the container or the pod up anymore now, right?
Yeah, it
We
doesn't.
just
It's just to
build
push
the,
the pod. That's just to push the image right there. That's all.
yeah, okay, and after that we could have deleted it since.
Yeah, since.
Okay.
So to do this, you have to like tick on this and click on delete. So you need to type in the name. I'm a lazy person, so just copy this and paste it and delete. So this will also take a long time to delete as it took a long time to create. And if you come over to our load balancer section and try to refresh it, you see it has gone because we deleted our service. So and we go over to our node, which is our what's it called? Compute engine, come over to VM instances. Yeah, so these two are still installing, or sorry, deleting rather. And hopefully it deletes before the laptop goes off. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask for the what's it called? The Git and GitHub code. I'll definitely be sending it to you guys and the recorded video also. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask now. After if this call ends anytime soon, you can send a message to me in the mastermind and I'll definitely reply to you. So remember they said you should take a picture of your what's it called? Your website. So yeah.
Hello, mentor.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is, at what point do we apply this Ansible Vault in this program we're running now? Is it in the Kubernetes engine or yes, or in the AWS?
Okay, did you say you guys should apply Ansible Vault to it?
Yeah. Yes, they say so.
Yeah, Abdullah, you're correct. Okay, so this was I really didn't copy that part, but we'll try to talk about that in our next class
Okay.
because I'm wondering there's no like secret. So okay, no problem. Okay, so that's the end of today's class. See you guys in the next class.